gentlemen, boys and girls, your boys are back with another episode of the Piledriver Podcast. I am the best in the world. That is my co-host, the Big Dog. How are you, my guy?
Good, brother. Running off high. We had a long night last night.
We did have a long night last night. It was a good night, and I'll say I'm gonna say good night. Yes, and the Browns lost today by 4 points. I'm gonna blame Kevin Stefanski for this loss. Why run the ball or why pass the ball on 3rd and 3 when you had been running pretty good the whole damn game? Just run the ball, keep the clock moving. Bad choices lead to losses. Defense looked like crap. Offense, whatever. PJ Walker, whatever PJ Watson, whatever his name is.
Walker. Yeah.
I know I missed Deshaun Watson, even though he's not been good either, but it's better than PJ Walker. But that's neither here nor there. We are here to talk about some wrestling. And last night, NWA came to the land and presented their Halloween pay-per-view, Samhain.
Yeah, man.
It was pretty solid. The venue, I liked a lot, actually. I had never been in that part of the Masonic Temple or Temple Live, whatever they call it. When we went for AIW, we were in the different part in the smaller room. So being in the bigger room and getting to actually sit and everything was kind of cool. The mezzanine.
Mezzanine seats were great.
The mezzanine seats were great. They were phenomenal with the ring placement and everything. I loved it. It was good. It was good seating. Pretty solid card looking at it. I do have some things that I'm going to complain about. You can either agree or disagree. If you saw the show, that's fine. The first match of the night, on the pre-show was a couple of our well-knowns that we know. We had Highway Miles Jacobs teaming up with the Ultra Star Ashton Day and the one and only mega champion Bryson Teller in a 6-man tag team match against, I can't remember their opponents' names. It's not on the card here.
No, one of them was Lord Crew. I don't remember the other two's name.
Doesn't matter. They got squashed by the homies. A great tag team, great 6-man match. Our boys went hard all around and put down on the pre-show. Super proud of them. Ashton, Miles, and Bryson kicked ass. So win off the rip. The card started great. I was really happy about it. In the next couple matches, we had a match on the pre-show. I don't remember the guy's name. He looked like Jesse the Body Ventura mixed with Hulk Hogan. They kind of had like rockers pants on. I've been looking up since we're sitting here. Like I've been looking and I can't find the competitors on the pre-show. Yeah. Unless I go back and watch the pre-show right now, I can't find it anywhere online what their names were. So I apologize for that. But the pre-show was pretty good. I'm okay. That's fine. And then we start with the main show. Okay. Now this is an NWA pay-per-view, correct? This is do we know how much this was on Fight? Do we know how much this cost people?
I do not.
Okay. Well, I hope it wasn't that much. It was an okay show, in my opinion. It wasn't the best. It definitely wasn't the worst I've seen, but it definitely wasn't the best. My biggest gripe, I guess you would say, is there were like 4 or 5 matches that had a stipulation that didn't. There was nothing like a chair shot. Like you had a chair shot in a match that was called I'm gonna go right into it. We'll talk about this. I don't remember. I don't remember the order.
This is where my point is. They wanted to attempt to make a hardcore event. NWA is not well known for that style of wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
One.
So this is their first pay-per-view of their new era. So I'm trying not to be overly critical. They're trying something different, something out of their wheelhouse, something they're not used to doing. Apparently this was very successful as far as the pay-per-view for being there. This is one of the larger venues they've booked in a very, very, very long time. So I guess it was a very successful from that standpoint. But just if you don't normally watch the NWA, they're usually in front of an audience, like the traditional. They've always kept it somewhat traditional. So like for them to do like
audience.
Yeah, so like for them to step out of their comfort zone and try something different here and have a hardcore themed, and compared to what we're used to seeing as hardcore themed.
Okay, and that's exactly my next point is where I was going to go with it. Maybe that's why I'm being overly critical of it, because like I got pictures of me in the Bev, bro. My boy's bleeding.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
So
So that's why like I had time to think about that. Like, am I being overly
I'll
critical?
give you that. And it's maybe again, but let's talk about it. And I'm like I said, I'm gonna go right into this match because it was one of the more exciting matches that I was excited for going in. It wasn't a bad match overall, great matchup, but there was no stipulation. Like there was one, but nothing played out in it. The Thrillbilly Silas Mason defended his NWA National Heavyweight Championship against Chris Adonis, the masterpiece, i.e. Chris Masters. One, I didn't get a master lock, but I was kind of hesitant on that because the Thrillbilly's a big fella. But two, this match was called a Burning Lake Brawl match.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means, first of all, but there was only one, I believe. I don't even know if there was a chair shot. I know they fought outside, like, of the ring for a minute, but like, again, had you just booked it as the Thrillbilly defending the title against Chris Adonis, I was okay with that match. It was a solid one-on-one matchup. But you put this stipulation on it that didn't mean anything. They said it too before it came out. Like, it's not like they announced, just Thrillbilly versus Chris Adonis. This match is a Burning Lake Brawl match. Nobody knows what that means. And then you did nothing. So.
Right. I wonder if it's kind of like how AEW did that, like, Texas Brawl kind of thing, where it's just like, it's a no DQ match.
But again, they didn't no DQ. They didn't do anything to give me any kind of, nothing. Okay. Right. So whatever. Thrillbilly
Disclaimer.
wins.
Disclaimer. None of these matches are in order.
Yeah. I have no idea the order. I just have the list in front of me of matches. It's great match. Great one-on-one match. And again, the Thrillbilly like banged his head off the guardrail or something, because again, I don't believe there might have been one chair shot. If I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think it was just a one.
But he was bleeding. I remember because he did this, when he had the blood on his face, and he looked cool afterwards at the end. But again, not in my opinion, could have just been a regular one-on-one match, and it would have been a lot better. It was more so the stipulations for me with these that
I think it's because when you put a stipulation on, you have an excitement towards that match whenever there's stipulation involved, and when you don't, like,
exactly,
yeah.
So and then look, we're going to talk about that later too, because I had a thought about that too. Another match we went into, it was the Ultimate Hardcore Tag Team War. Here we go. Another one, right into it. So this was a 2-team. All right. First of all, I don't know how this was set up, because they made it seem like it was going to be like 6-on-6, right? And it was, except one person would get in the ring, and then another person from the other team would get in the ring. The rest of the guys were outside on the floor. And then, like, when somebody would go over the top, they would say, so-and-so's been eliminated. And then somebody else from their team would slide in. Right. Or if they got pinned, they were eliminated as well. And then somebody else. Okay. So the first person pinned is Max the Impaler. The very first person pinned. She doesn't leave. She stays to the side with her team. And again, this was called Ultimate Hardcore Tag Team War. Very, very minimal hardcore in this match. Very minimal. I was really excited about it being Ultimate Hardcore Tag Team War, especially with Max the Impaler. She was eliminated first, and there was very minimalistic hardcore action. Okay. Apparently there was a stipulation where if Sal the Pal and Gags the Gimp lose, they are indebted to Father James Mitchell. Well, Max the Impaler somehow entered herself back in the match and picked up the victory.
Literally at one point in time, every single person on both teams had been eliminated, and the match was still continuing.
And yeah, I had no fucking clue what was going on.
I did too. I even looked at the guy next to me. I'm like, How do we determine a winner here? Because everyone's been eliminated.
I'm sitting next to Tommy and Gio, and I'm like, what the hell is this? What? Like, again, it was very, very confusing. That's all. That I was not clear on the rules. It was not in my face as to what the rules were, just kind of out there. So,
yeah,
wasn't that happy with that match. The next match, a loser leaves NWA match. So the special guest referee, his name was Rolando Freeman.
and he had a huge mullet, bro.
Little tiny guy with the biggest mullet I've ever seen. All right.
It was like shaved on the side and there was a blowout out the back, bro. It was
mid-drift shirt.
That was like the Pauly D of mullets.
It was so floofy. Like, it was just,
dude, it was.
But he kept doing this like weird hip slapping thing. Like, I don't know if that's, we're not that familiar with NWA, so maybe this is something he does on a regular basis. It looks like it. But this was Brady Pierce versus Rush Freeman, who I'm going to assume they are in like a cahoots or brothers or a tag team, because Rush Freeman did the hip slappy thing too. So they did it like, when he was doing like an elbow drop or something. Solid match. I'm not, I had no vested interest in this match. The little referee guy was a spicy little thing. Like, he was very in the match.
But then Matt Cardona comes out.
Matt Cardona shows up and clears the ring. Demands the man, Billy Corgan.
What had happened was he beat up the other dude, and was it the dude in the white? What was his name?
Rush Freeman.
Rush Freeman.
That was the dude with the bow tie. Yeah.
He put him over top of the other guy and he took Rolando's hand and pinned 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And
so
then
Brady Pierce must leave NWA.
Yes.
And then, yes, like Dean said, he grabbed the microphone and called out the one and only WPC, William Patrick Corgan, the owner of the NWA. And, Dean, it was pretty cool to see Patrick Corgan, wasn't it?
It was cool.
Pretty fucking cool.
Face to face with Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona was telling him, he's like, I had to relinquish my title. I never technically lost that title.
Which
and
is
he kind of demanded, and he kind of demanded, put me in the main event. Let's make this triple threat. EC3, Thomas Latimer, Matt Cardona. William Morgan sitting there.
He actually went off. Like, he went off. It was kind of crazy. Like, he fucking was like, what? Bitch, like, who the fuck you think
he built the crowd up.
To?
He's like, is this what you guys want? Is this what you guys want? And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay. Matt Cardona, you go to hell. And starts going off, dude. And
like, he went off. It was pretty cool to see him go off like that. But yeah, like Dean said, he did not add him to the match. He told him to go fuck himself, basically. It was cool. A good spot. I mean, Matt Cardona was there. I love Matt Cardona. Not mad at all. Another match. Let's talk about it, because there was a lot of people in the crowd were excited that this match was on the card. Obviously, this one is a big one. I have never seen this man wrestle before, but we had a riddle box match. Violent J and the Brothers of Funstruction versus Vampiro and La Rebellion. And what do I say about this match?
All right. Before we get into this, Brothers of Funstruction, I really enjoyed them.
Okay.
I also enjoyed Vampiro's people too. Vampiro and Violent J should not be wrestling anymore.
100%. Okay, so let me tell you, I also very much enjoyed the Brothers of Funstruction. I think they are a solidly comical tag team that are good wrestlers. 100%. Yeah. Though I don't know their names. Yabo I saw it on the back of his jacket. I don't remember their names. Yeah. It doesn't have it here in front of me. but they were solid wrestlers. The one had really good facial expressions, really good, like when he got hit with stuff. But so they had boxes all over the ring with different things in them. At one point, some could be against you, some could be for you. Anything. We have no idea what was in these boxes. There was about 30 of them on the outside of the ring.
Yeah.
At one point, they opened boxes. We had anything ranging from rubber chickens to ping pong balls with slingshots, balloons, just craziness all around.
At one point, they opened up one, and it was all those little miniature slam buddies of Violent J.
Yeah.
And they were tossing them out to the people in the crowd. Almost caught one.
I didn't get one. I didn't get one either. I tried to catch a shirt too, even though I didn't want an ICP shirt. I tried to catch one. But yeah, and then at one point they opened up a smaller box that contained popcorn, and Yabo sat in the ring and just ate popcorn until he found in the bottom some thumbtacks. The first legitimate weapon we had seen, being introduced, so to speak. And then
besides the plastic lightsabers.
I was going to say, yeah, then other things came out from outside the rings, baking sheets, an ironing board. This match got a little fun. It was a little fun, but not, I don't know. I think they overdid it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they kept going too long. They tried to drag it a little much, in my opinion, because it got to a point where it got bored. And then they started to try to play to the ICP, obviously, in the crowd. Another one of my biggest complaints about this match is that Vampiro didn't do a fucking thing.
No.
He stood on the outside of the ring 90% of the match. I understand he's old. I understand he's had health issues. I understand. I'm not asking him to go in here and give me 5 minutes even in a match. Go in there and, like, he got in the biggest pop of his whole night was him getting in the ring and looking at Violent J and said, "Come get it, motherfucker," or something like that. Yeah. That was it. And then he got beat up by Violent J. So,
in my opinion, if I would have booked this, I would have just had the Brothers of Funstruction versus the Rebellion.
And then have them on the outside.
Outside. And then they can get it in the ring and have that moment. Other than that.
Exactly. Because there was no need for them to be in the match. They needed to be there in the managerial point. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. But it was still cool to see them.
It was still cool to see him. I'm not even a fan of ICP, and it was cool. I got a nice little moment where he was handing out balloons, and like I was just, video recording it, and he pointed, like, there was somebody behind me. He wasn't pointing at me because I wasn't whooping, but he pointed right at the dude right behind me, and it was like whoop whoop. So it's a cool little video, that I'll post up. It's sweet. Respect. Again, I know they do Juggalo Championship Wrestling and all that stuff. I'm not hating on any wrestlers ever. But like Dean said, it would have worked better had them on the outside in the managerial role and just had a tag team fun box match or riddle box match, I mean.
Yeah, like Violent J and Vampiro would be the ones sliding into boxes throughout the match. You know what I'm saying? Just little stuff like that. I would have done differently. Because there were some spots with them, with Violent J and Vampiro, where it just did not look good for them. It made them look
exactly. It made them look bad.
I don't want them bad.
You had the one, like the Violent J clothesline where he did a diving clothesline on Vampiro, looked solid until he didn't land, like he rolled funny. You know what I'm saying? Like he did, it wasn't, he's not a wrestler, like he's an off-time wrestler. And he's old. They're all old. They're old guys. But yeah, so the Brothers of Funstruction were able to pull out a win. I like Dean said, I wouldn't mind seeing them again. I can totally watch them. They were comical. It was fun. The next match, this one I was worried about going into because I don't know these guys. Jax Dane versus Blake Troop in a submission match. And going into this, when I saw this on the card, I was like, man, this could either go really good or this could go really bad. Because if these guys can't wrestle, being in a submission match is pointless. It wasn't bad. Blake Troop looked like Stipe Miocic a little bit.
He's a beast, dude.
He looked like jacked. Both men were jacked. Like, great. I'm not going to call it great. It was a good submission match. Because, I mean, I've seen Chris Benoit's submission matches. Let's be honest here,
Right.
but it was a good submission match. I was a little like thrown off, I guess, by Chris Silvio, the valet guy for Blake Troop. Just didn't look like he belonged. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like they were two total polar opposites. He had like a scarf on. He looked like Chris Jericho in the List type days, you know, so
Okay.
it just didn't fit. Again, we've probably been watching NWA. I watched The Power last week on YouTube for the first time. You know, like I've not been in the NWA ever since we went to Exodus. I've been trying to keep up a little bit so that if we're showing up to these events, I know who these people are. Next match, we had the NWA World Women's Tag Team Championship match. Pretty Empowered, the champions, defending their titles against Natalia Markova and Taylor Rising, who looked fucking awesome in their costumes.
Mm-hmm.
They were dressed up like the Joker and Harley Quinn, and they looked great.
I agree.
Pretty Empowered, actually. I was a little impressed. I'm not familiar with the names of each girl. There was another one, she's the champion, like the women's champion. Kenzie Page, she's also a member of Pretty Empowered.
Yeah, Kenzie Page is the one that got the pinfall.
No. Kenzie Page is the champion. She wasn't in this match. She was in the Ruthie. Yeah, she was in the Ruthie J match. I was just saying they're a member of the same stable. Let me see if I can see here. But yeah, it was a pretty solid match. I wasn't upset with this match. The one girl from Pretty Empowered, I'm trying to find her name. She actually impressed me a lot. The girls that were in Natalia Markova and Taylor Rising did a great job as well, in my opinion. I liked.
Okay, it was
Go
Kylie,
ahead.
Ella Envy, and Kylie Page.
There you go, Kylie Page. Okay,
Kenzie Page.
Kenzie Page is Kylie Page is the tag team champion. Kenzie Page is the heavyweight or the women's champion.
Yeah, and Kylie's the one that got the pinfall. So
yes.
Okay.
And they're all in Pretty, and they're in Pretty Empowered. They're a group together. Yes.
Okay. What if they're sisters?
Yeah, they probably are. I would assume so. But yeah, so that it was a solid match, and I like I said, the one impressed me. I wasn't so sure on the smaller member of Pretty Empowered. I believe that's Kylie Page, the one that got the pinfall.
Yeah.
The other girl, what was her name?
Ella Envy.
Ella Envy. I was very impressed by her. She was a solid wrestler. Solid wrestler. They were able to retain their titles. They were able to retain the titles, so Pretty Empowered is still the women's tag team champion. This match right here, this next match that we're going to talk about, was my favorite match of the night. Colby Corino defending his NWA Junior World Champion Heavyweight Championship against Joe Alonzo in a pillar to post match. Don't know what that is, but this match delivered. These men fought and beat each other up and went outside the ring and came up the steps and fought right behind us in the row, literally right behind me. They fought over here this way. They fucked Colby Corino, threw Joe Alonzo off the freaking stage and then jumped off on him. Hands down, my favorite match of the night. Hands down, my favorite match of the night.
I didn't get to watch that one. I was outside.
Yeah, you missed it.
I did, but I went back and looked at the video of Colby jumping off. It looked like it was.
Dude, it was nuts. It was so crazy.
Kind of salty that I went outside. I went and got a beer and got some fresh air because
them hot dogs. It was hot in there. It was hot. It was warm. I said the same thing. I'm sitting there and I'm sweating. Tommy's like, "Are you all right? It's not even that hot." And I'm like, sweating off my bald head.
Right. I went out there, gobbled a glizzy down. And...
Oh, the glizzies. They had $5 glizzies at Temple Live.
And they were just so basic, but
yeah.
I'm so hungry. That's just slap, dude.
It was good. It was good. Yeah, it was probably my favorite match of the night. 100%. Colby Carino defended and retained his championship against Joe Alonzo in a pillar to post match. Again, no idea what that is, but Paulie made me up to believe that that's something where they just whoop ass. Like, I'm gonna whoop your ass from pillar to post, and
That makes sense.
so that's what they did. So that one holds up. I'm okay with it. All right. Now, earlier in the thing, you had said something about like they think that they want the spots to be like you thought NWA, like they did these spots, these hardcore spots, and they wanted people to get excited about it.
Right.
This match, I think it backfired on them. The NWA World Tag Team Championship match, a Knights of the Round Table tables match.
Yeah.
So it was a tables match, but you had to put your opponent through a round table.
And in the beginning of the show, I noticed that there was a round table by the stage on the right hand side.
We could not see that from our side at all.
It was covered with a white cloth and it had like bread. It looked like a feasting table, which kind of plays off with the Knights of the Round Table.
It does. And we couldn't see that table at all. It was behind the fans on that side, so we didn't even know that was there. But I think that it played against them because they brought out other tables thinking that the fans were going to be excited that there was other table spots. And I don't think it worked in their favor.
They pulled out like 5 other tables, bro. Like they overdid it. And then I was like, yet again, not a round table.
The match continues. And look, this was Blunt Force Trauma versus Knox and Murdoch. All right, let's be 100% honest here. I like Knox and Murdoch too. I've always liked Murdoch. I liked Caden Murdoch back in the day as a tag team. I always thought fucking Murdoch had that grizzly ass grin that made him look mean as shit.
You know what would be a good one? Like Murdoch grew on me. I want to see like a Murdoch versus Jock Sampson.
Oh, but back to my original point. These guys, I don't know who Blunt Force Trauma is. Never heard of them. But I can tell by their bodies and how they were. These dudes were older, man. All right. So the fact that they were going through these tables and they're just like, nope. By the time they got to the other table, I was out of it. Like, I was like, just get it over with. Just throw them through the round. You got it's over. Like, this is silly.
I have to admit though, Eric Smalls coming into the ring.
Bro! The pint-sized punk. I said that shit. I looked over at Tommy and Gio because he came skipping into the fucking ring. And I was like, as soon as he came out, I was like, oh shit. I was like, I know him. We've seen him at OCW and everything. I was like, he's fucking cool. Like, he's a good wrestler. And Gio was like, what? And I was like, oh yeah. And then he came in. I was like, the pint-sized punk. He brought that mini fucking table out. Yeah. And then, he ended up going through it himself, but that was a cool spot, and it was definitely cool to see the pint-sized punk get a little NWA loving.
So and I knew what's the dude's name? Aaron
Stevens.
Yeah, I knew he was going to be involved in this match at some point.
Yeah, formerly known as Damian Sandow. We all know who he is.
I think he was one of the Knights. I
thought he was the Wizard. Because you couldn't see the Wizard's face. He had like the fucking thing pulled down and he had the big old beard on. And I thought he was the Wizard. I was like, because the Wizard came out and did like this and shit.
So after they put him through like the 5 tables, they all took turns going through tables. They started making their way up the ramp. I'm like, all right, they're setting up for the finish. And sure enough, they head over to the right side of the stage. Well, if you're facing the stage, the left side. And they start setting up for something. And then you see the Knight start move out of the way and interfere.
Yep.
And sets up the win for Blunt Force Trauma to put. Was it Murdoch? Did Murdoch go through it, or was it Knox?
Murdoch, yeah.
Murdoch went through the table. Okay. And then Aaron Stevens takes off the face.
Takes off the metal helmet and lets it be known that he has helped Blunt Force Trauma retain. Next match, I was actually really excited about this match. It turned out to be a pretty solid women's match as well. Kenzie Page versus Ruthie J. In my opinion, Ruthie J looks like a miniature Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
I
was impressed by her.
Choice. Loved it. Kenzie was good too. Everybody around me had Kenzie stuff. Like again, just now following, not as familiar. I'm not, learning. But Kenzie Page did a great job. This was a pretty solid women's match. I was not unhappy with this match. And then last but not least, again, this match was dubbed a no limits match. EC3 defending his heavyweight NWA World's Heavyweight Championship against Tom Latimer with his wife, Camille.
Macho Man Latimer.
He did have some Macho Man gear on, and that was actually pretty cool. He looked good.
Yeah, Camille dressed as Princess Elizabeth.
Yeah, it was cool. It was good. Really, EC3 looked great. He had like a Sparta, like a Greek kind of god thing going on. It was cool. Great match. I'm not mad at this match at all. We knew what was going to happen because we had saw him earlier in the evening. Eventually, Matt Cardona did make an appearance. But again, no limits match. I expected more than a couple chair shots. That's really all it was.
Camille. All right, so EC3 set it up, and he was going to go through a dive through the ropes to take out
that
Latimer.
Chair shot was awesome.
Dude, Camille smacked the fuck out of EC3.
I got that. I got a good video of that one. And then, like I said, there was another time where I think she hit him in the back, and she laid him out on the back in the ring, EC3, with a chair shot, and it was good. It was a nice, solid one. But there wasn't a whole lot of, But like at one point when Cardona did make his appearance, Camille had been knocked into the bottom corner and Cardona came in and he was about to broski boot this girl. Dog, I was so excited. And Tom Latimer had to make the decision as to whether to jump in front of Camille to protect the broski boot or to go after EC3 for the title. He jumps in front. He saves his lady and takes a nasty broski boot from Matt Cardona. And it was a good match, man. It was a good match.
We got two pile drivers.
We got a pile driver outside of the ring. And then to finish the match, EC3 with the double underhook pile driver to seal the victory and keep the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship where it belongs, Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, so that last match made it sound like I was really excited. Overall, as a pay-per-view, it was a good show. I'm gonna give it 2.5 pile drivers out of 5. It was the lack of stipulation explanation, the stuff like that went down in the Hardcore Team War Battle Royal that I had no idea what was going on. And then, the overdoing it in instances such as the Riddle Box match and the tables match.
I'm going to give it a 3. More so because I had to sit there and think about it. They're trying something different.
I agree with that. I was originally thinking 2. So I bumped them up a half for the, because I gave that into you.
So I'm giving them a 3 out of 5 pile drivers. Afterwards, EC3 announced that it's going to be a yearly thing.
Yes, he would like to make Samhain a yearly thing in Cleveland. So, and I said this walking out. If that's what goes on, I will be more than happy to come back. I'm not discrediting the NWA. I'm not going to not watch him anymore. It's just a bad experience, man. It happens.
Hey, it's the first.
Exactly. It's the first show that they've.
I enjoyed this show more than Extreme Rules. This being my second pick.
Oh, yeah. When we went to Extreme Rules, I had more fun just hanging out with you guys.
Right. But for the show in general,
yeah. No, it was again, it wasn't a bad show. I'm not saying it was bad. There's definitely room for improvement, and they definitely have improving. I see youngness in the roster. I see some heat in the roster. Again, like I said, Ruthie J.
They've been kind of stagnant for a long time.
Agreed. And it's time, like Billy Corgan said, he wants to bring the territories back, and that's going to light a fire under some of these younger guys, in my opinion. And it does nothing but boost people that we already watch and give a shit about. I think they're moving in
themselves. I think they're going to be Yeah, keep going the way they're doing. They're going up. So
110%.
I got to like they're trying something different. They're trying to make a comeback. Because let's just be honest. Past 20, 30 years, NWA has really been nothing.
Exactly.
And that's the most prestigious title in all of wrestling history. The 10
and
pounds of gold.
And yeah, exactly. And more people care about WWE and shit than they even know about NWA. So I'm not.
This is a great time.
They're on the uptick. They're on the uptick, and I'll give them that. And like I said, with people like EC3 leading the charge, especially bringing in the hometown boys and doing local stuff and helping the local guys and giving them a place to showcase their talents, helps out a whole bunch. It makes me super excited for them, especially with things like Exodus. People like Ruthie J, Kenzie Page, Colby Carino, the younger generation in here that are out here kicking ass, man. They did a great job. The older guys, they're out here being veterans and doing what they're supposed to do. I'm not mad at you guys at all. It was a solid show. I'm happy that I went. I had a great time. We don't have a lot to talk about Mega wise. This week we're gonna try to
shout out to the sweep guy.
Shout out to the guy with the broom. He got the most love over everybody. Giant pop when he was sweeping the floor or sweeping the ring out.
Every time he came out, the crowd erupted. Sweep, 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 sweep.
Oh yeah.
Want to give him this flag.
Yeah, for sure. But then until his broom broke. But yeah, like I said, we were out at Jamie's flea market and we had a little bit of microphone issues with some of our stuff. I did a couple interviews, but we did have some people come on, and I'm gonna try to get them cleaned up and get them posted as soon as possible. But we're gonna try to get somebody on here from Mega before their show. 2 weeks, November 11th. One more battle, 2 ring chaos at Lorain County College Community Fieldhouse. Yep. It's going to be a banger. And then the very next week, we got Neo Pro Ascent at Stark County Fairgrounds, another certified banger. I'm going to get with Angel Metro. I have spoken with her. She is going to come on the podcast before the 18th and talk about her upcoming match with Zoe Sky. So
let's go.
We're going to get that popping. But yeah, I don't really have enough. Shout out to Believeland Media today. 2 years, baby. 2 years Believeland Media has been a thing. Shout out to all of the whole damn team. Double Play CLE, Guardians of the CLE, Brown and Orange Weekly. Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to everybody. We love you all from the Piledriver Podcast. That's for damn sure. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here. New year, year 3. Let's get out here and get it.
Yeah, we have grown the company in the past 2 years. I'm just proud of the whole team, man.
100%.
Very wide, and I'm proud to be part of it. So happy 2-year anniversary to everyone on the Believeland team. Kevin, thank you. Believing in us, helping us do what we do. We love you. Yeah.
On that note, make sure to get over and follow all the sponsors over at Believeland Media. Check out all the local high school sports coverage that Kevin and them are doing over there. Great stuff. And make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share all of our stuff.
We are 143 followers away from reaching 1,000 on Twitter. 143.
We'll start popping it off on Twitter. But yeah, so I got nothing. We will catch you next week. I'll let you know any updates on the socials. If we're going to get somebody on, maybe I'll have a midweek interview. That's the big dog. I'm the best in the world. We'll see you next week.